I can finally do wide shots. Not worry too terribly that what it looks like is an absolute mess. From that distance, it looks more like a découpage, which is French for mess. Welcome to my twisted world. Things here aren't always what they seem, but they are covered in pet hair, that's for sure. You know, an empty bench is the devil's playground. Right, Fart Ninja? So, we're gonna probably pick a kit, put it down and build it. Not right now. But I thought I would show you around my bench a little bit. I have accrued everything here that I need, and a lot of things that I don't, for model making and for customization of things and for hanging. One of the things that's really handy is to not have a fart ninja. But if you do have a fart ninja, put it somewhere where it's not going to get tripped all the time when you're filming. This is my bench. I have glues, I have cements. There's a difference. I have bonding agents. I have stains, paints, paints. I have tester paints. I have home crafting paints. You can do a lot of stuff for a very, very, very small amount of money. All you got to do is go over to your local box store and you can get stuff like metallic paints, house paints. If you use this sort of stuff on models, nobody's going to know the difference. The beautiful thing about customization is that you don't have to follow any rules. What works on the surface, as long as it doesn't somehow chemically react with the surface, sometimes you want that. But most of the time, if you're just decorating something, using innocuous things like house paints, artistry paints and stuff like that, that's okay. It's not going to affect the plastic. It may affect the bond. So what you do need to do is make sure that the surface is clean and dry, and maybe you might have to put a little primer on it for it to really settle in and take. But I suggest, if you are into this at all, that you create an area where you can get it done. I know not everybody, sometimes you're renting, sometimes you're, you just don't have a lot of space. I do not have a lot of space. However, I've managed to get a lot of stuff in to these spaces, including a lot of nerdish, okay? There are, there's a Pikachu there, there's Green Goblins and Godzillas everywhere. I know that. But also in here is a tremendous amount of stuff. And the way I have it stashed is to go over to the Goodwill. And there are things like, let me just turn this just a little bit so that you can see. Spice racks, okay? It was $1.99 and it holds all of my paints. I mean, pretty much all my paints. And then I've got another small spice rack next to it, kind of a tchotchke rack, that also carries tester paints and glues and bonds and stuff like that. There's, like I said, you can use a lot of different things for crafting. One of the things you can use, just as an example, one of the things that you can use on plastic models to simulate rust is cinnamon. Wet the surface, dust a little cinnamon past it. and you've got a rust streak down the side of your ship. I mean, this is not secret knowledge. It's all out here on YouTube, and I learned it from somebody else. But you can too. And so that's why I have some cinnamon up here. Anyway, I'm going to move away from the fart ninja real quick here, and I'll show you something different. you've only seen a very little bit. There's a whole rack of audio gear and stuff in here that's of no interest to anybody. And what you see behind me here is the beginnings of the well over, at this point, I think we're almost to 2,100 different titles, series, movies, anime, everything is up in here. Comedies, dramas, science fiction, horror, a lot of science fiction and horror. What can I tell you? But the idea that is going with this is that what you see here is at several layers deep of DVDs. You know, there's stuff behind what you can see there. The idea is to create a shelf system on the wall which will have all of the spines out on this entire wall of my office, because right now it's currently taking up about that much airspace from the wall. If I can get them all to single layer, that gives me another almost foot of room in here. The truth is that the density of media that I have in here is intimidating. It's a huge amount, but I would like to remind my kids, my grandkids, and anybody that finds me when I'm dead, that there's actually stuff of value up here. Don't just chuck it. I've been working on this video library for, since well before DVD began. And I have amassed a tremendous amount of titles, most of which have been transferred off of VHS. If I still have the VHS, it means that I still treasure that print. So I've got a handful of those, but I really have pared down my VHS collection quite a bit. I've given a lot of it away to people that are collectors. I've sent, I sent Andre a few titles. I sent a title to somebody that I will not mention, because my wife and Andre disapprove of my watching every day. You got to keep your eye on the lead dog. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, I am in the process of getting all of the movies and TV and stuff like that accessible and in alphabetical order, alphanumeric order. I'm using a program to do that. I am not using my brain for such a task. I use an app on my phone that scans the DVD ISBN code, the barcode on it, and comes up with all of the information that I need in order to collate the collection. And the problem that I am having currently is that it did crash on me. The program, the app did crash on me, and it lost all of the scanning that I had done. It's a lot to sit there, and checkers will tell you running across a scanner is a pain in the ass. They are far from perfect. Anyway, I do have also I have a video game corner over here where I have a Sega Genesis, a Sega Dreamcast, a Nintendo an original Xbox, and a Nintendo GameCube, as well as lots of sort of standalone arcade stick games, plug and play games. I've got probably about 6 or 7 of those over there, and they are all wired into an old school television set. It's not a CRT, But it is one that emulates the CRT's tube, if you will. So there's not a lot of, delay on the input or anything crazy like that. And I would like to eventually, hopefully it'll work with light gun games. I haven't tried it, but I do want to. Anyway, a little bit of a room tour to kind of show you what's going on in here. And let's go on to something different. Yes, different. The same, but different. Okay, snuck out of the house. Grabbed my wife's car. Used to be my car. Now it's hers. Lights on for safety. She foolishly sent me to the store. You know what that means. Steamboat Willie. Tons of that, man. Whoa. First of all, don't YouTube and drive, but wow, what an unpleasant experience. With a lot of stuff on the pegs, but there were like a ton of parents there, which never bothers me. I'm not bothered by strangers when I film, but I don't like filming around kids. I think it's creepy. I think it could be construed as creepy, and it's a hard thing to not do when you're in the fucking toy section. So anyway, there were a lot of people there, so I grabbed some stuff off the pegs and I got out. There was a stock guy was doing his job. But here it is. It's 6:30 on a Sunday night, and I'm not going to sit there and ask the guy for the cases that he was opening and putting on the pegs, and he was opening full cases. He had just finished up with all the Hot Wheels, and he was switching to Matchbox, and you could see that this guy was tired, so I didn't want to get in his way. I felt bad about being there as it was. I felt bad about having my camera out. So anyway, I'm on my way home. Don't YouTube while you drive. Grabbed the wrong fucking keys. Yeah. They're on the roof.